Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I haven't done a video in a while, and for that reason, I just kind of took a break away from it because I said, there are things I want to say, but there's no other way to say it without being to some people would assume offensive. But excuse me, I'm clearing my throat. I'm being honest about opinions, ideas. Not only ideas, mainly a conscious thought and some of observations of things that I've seen over the years. And yeah, you're looking at this title correct. It says privileged lesbians. And the reason I titled it like that is because I wanted to be clear and concise about what I'm going to talk about. And I don't know if it's going to be a long convo or a short convo, but it may or may not rub some people the wrong way. But I'm doing it, outside the box, outside of the confines of, you know, let's talk safe, let's talk, without offending anybody. I'm pretty much letting this conversation or this topic rather evolve into what I see or what I've seen, over the years. And the reason I titled this Privileged Lesbians is because I really do believe that people don't understand, those who don't admit or don't see what's going on, or they don't know the lifestyle of people who are or whom are LGBT people. And what I've noticed is that the same types of racism that goes on in the straight world also goes on in the gay world and the lesbian world. And I don't think people realize it, but I'm just going to say how I've been seeing this. And what I think is ironic, drinking some water about the whole thing is that people will say how much they hate, that they'll vent their frustration or their hate or hatred towards LGBTQ individuals, but they'll still support Ellen DeGeneres. They'll still support white lesbians, and they'll still look at them outside of their sexuality and their preference on relationship. They see the humor in them, they see the funny in them, they see, you know, the popularity in these individuals, but they're still lesbians. Now, the same types of individuals that claim that they don't like the lifestyle or they don't understand it or they're against it, they'll support, and I've seen this from even some of the people in the Black community that will support Ellen DeGeneres, but when your own Black peers come out and admit their sexuality, and we had that happen with Queen Latifah. And so you see Ellen DeGeneres here. Her show has been on the air for like I don't know how long, and it's still on TV. But Queen Latifah had a show, and her show was on the air for a while, and it only lasted, from what I'm seeing here, it only lasted 2 seasons. And she had 175 episodes. And when she admitted that she was gay or that she was a lesbian woman, where she didn't mind dating women. There was so much scrutiny, and you don't really see the same support for Queen Latifah as you do Ellen DeGeneres. And I'm gonna say this. The reason why I believe it's because Ellen is white and Queen Latifah is black. And so the same black people will watch Ellen's show and they say, oh, I saw it on the Ellen show. And those are the same people that'll scream and shout how they dislike gays and they dislike lesbians. And so the other thing that struck me is I noticed nobody mentioned this. Now, I'm typing in the process while I'm doing this. So there's all this stuff about Bill Cosby and how he's adjusting in his prison cell. And yeah, I'm going to mention him because the reason I'm mentioning him, and I was thinking about it last night, and I was talking to someone, and although I don't support what he was doing when he was putting, this whatever he was putting in women's drinks. But what I do notice is, and I know some people may not want to believe this, is that I felt that this woman right here, Andrea Constance is her name, I believe. That's Bill Cosby's accuser. So I'm gonna try to see if I can do my best to look her up. I had like a bottle of water here, and so what I notice is, now some people follow the case. They said that there really wasn't a lot of evidence about Cosby, but I said to myself, I said, well, his accuser, his main accuser that basically took him down happened to be a what? A white lesbian. Now, I know what some people are going to say. Some people are going to say, oh, you're just saying that because she's white. But I feel like this. Yeah. This is an article about Andrea Constance. Now, this is Andrea Constance. It says Andrea Constance, the woman Bill Cosby sexually assaulted in 2004, recalls the traumatizing abuse. And so this woman here is white and she's a lesbian. And, I'm under the impression that she's paid. She's doing well economically for herself. And that's the reason why I entitled this Privilege, because the reason I entitled it Privilege is because these women, they're white, they're lesbian, and they're wealthy. And some of them have, they have money. And I'm not saying that everyone has money, but some do. So, alrighty. I think that's a commercial. But anyway, I'm going to go down here and I'm not really looking at the commercial. Okay, so this article says here, I probably want on one of those funny pages where it pops in and pops out. Bill Cosby drugged and sexually assaulted Andrea Constance. Okay. Shoot, it's one of those weirdo sites where I said weirdo sites where, when you go down in there and then it has all these ads and all this crap in it. And so, and then it's thepeople.com. they kind of send you on a rat race. So it, let me see, I'm going to go into Google. Okay. Or one of them that's like that. I'm going to change my search engines because sometimes they have these crazy well, you know, search sites where you can't really find what you're looking for, or you find what you're looking for, and then there's all this drama behind it. Now, when she was younger, I guess, you know, there was something, you know, that he did to her. So there, she wasn't the only one that came forward about Bill Cosby. You know, there were other women. I guess it's bringing me back to this crazy article. So this, I guess, happened in 2004 in a Pennsylvania mansion. Andrea Constance had known Bill Cosby for about 2 years when, in 2004, he drugged and then sexually assaulted her in the mansion in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania. So Constance is 45, first met Cosby in 2002. Then at 29 years old, she was the director of operations for the Temple University women's basketball team and was introduced to Cosby by a mutual friend at the campus, Lycorius Center or something like that. So from the moment he saw Constance, Cosby had a romantic interest in her, and he testified in the deposition in 2005, a civil lawsuit that she had filed against him, a copy of which was obtained by the People magazine. And so this is how she probably looked in her younger years. So she, you know, to him, I guess he had this romantic interest. See, there's two things about this that I was looking at. You know, a lot of these, you know, Bill Cosby has been convicted of drugging and assaulting this woman, so that it has the update and all that kind of stuff. So this is her. And so what what I take from this is she's, you know, I feel like they listen to her and they take her situation or her side of it probably a little more serious than they would if it had been a black lesbian. Now, I know that may not sit well with some people hearing that, but I'm just being straightforward and honest. The other thing is, I noticed that some of these men tend to go for these white women, and these are the very white women that will take you down. And in some ways, I have to be honest, they kind of deserve it. Because, first of all, you shouldn't be messing with them. That's number one. You know, and you know that's what's going to happen because they're going to take you down. The other thing is that, you know, because let's just be honest here, if you hadn't never messed with these women, you wouldn't be in the positions that you are now. Um, the other thing is that, period, just putting your hands on women, drugging women. You know, if she didn't ask for it, it's not consensual, then yeah, you're going to get, you know, if it comes forward and it comes to the light, you're gonna get some kind of, she's gonna get some kind of justice for it. But the thing is that you notice, if you compare this situation versus the R. Kelly situation, it seems like it takes so long for them. It took so long for them to find an indictment on R. Kelly. And but with Bill Cosby, I feel like it didn't take as long because you had a white woman who's privileged and she's lesbian and I'm saying, I feel like she's economically, she's well off, that it did take them long to take him out and put him in prison. He can be old, blind, crippled, crazy, and you know, she's a white woman, she was assaulted, and so he's going to jail. He's going to jail or prison, either one. And so it didn't take them long to make that decision And I feel like if it had been somebody that was a black woman, it would have took them a lot of more time to make a case out of it, a lot of more time to investigate. You know, they would have questioned and doubted a lot of things and the credibility of the whole situation because of the fact that the woman is black. And then the other thing that I feel is that if she was a lesbian and she was black, she wouldn't get the same attention that this woman you see right here on the screen has gotten. And I noticed the comparisons between the two, even with, famous lesbians, talk show hosts. Queen Latifah's show, I don't even know if it still airs or not. I'm assuming it isn't really as popular as Ellen DeGeneres' show. And these are supposed to be lesbians, both, but it just happens one is white and one is black. One's more popular and one isn't. Why is that? So in my mind, I question why, because so the reason why I feel like that some people have privilege in this world, in this lesbian world, is because if you're white and if you're wealthy and you're a white woman that's a lesbian, you are treated the same way as a regular white woman who's straight in the straight world, so to speak. Your cries, your your distress, if somebody's done something to you, it's taken more serious, as opposed to someone who, if she's a black female and if she's in distress, if it takes longer. It seems like as though it takes longer for people to believe it. And then what's crazy is you'll have other black women who will support the abuser. They'll support the abuser and say, oh, yeah, she probably was wearing something. She asked for it. Or it's not real. She's going to get exposed. Nobody raped her and all of this kind of stuff. And if it happens to them, then they can understand it. But as long as it doesn't happen to them, it doesn't happen to somebody they're close to, they can't understand what that is like to be abused, or to have somebody rape you, or somebody to, just take something from you and violate you like that. And so this is the kind of thing that I think is really ironic, because of the fact that, when you have a person that, they have popularity, they have fame, and they're white and they're successful, and then on top of that, they happen to be a lesbian, all of those layers you can get around because that person is white and privileged. And if a person is black and she's, she may be popular, but in the black community and in their eyes, if she happens to be gay or lesbian, there's a problem. So that's the thing. It just seems like I'm looking here, and so there are other people that are, I know I had, they have like little sayings here. The 10, I saw it like a couple of days ago. I was looking at the 10 most popular now. The only black person that I've seen that has really come out, other than there's two at least that I know of. There's others, but there's two. I think one is a comedian, the other one was an actress. And they both married white lesbian women. One is Wanda Sykes, and the other one, she used to be on the Orange is the New Black. And I can't remember what her name is, but these are like 10 best lesbian blogs to remember, best TV, best gay and lesbian couples. So they show the guys. But anyway, I was looking at it, and there were only two that actually came forward and got married, and they're supposed to be popular, and you don't really hear much talk about them, but they happen to marry women whom happen to be white, and I'm assuming those women are successful. And so I noticed even the anchor lady, the black woman that's on the Today Show, I think she's on. Um, I had her name at the tip of my tongue. Um, the black anchor lady, she was in an 11 or 12-year relationship with a white woman as well. And I don't know if people, you noticed how the black community got quiet and nobody said anything, and everybody got quiet and they kind of folded and they stayed quiet. And there was so much, oh, so and so, she's really nice, she's beautiful, she's a sexy woman and stuff. And I used to hear this on Facebook with some of the black guys. They would say all this stuff about her, but when they found out that she was lesbian, and that she wasn't doing guys, that she had a white woman, and then everybody got quiet. I noticed that, and so I was thinking to myself, I said, I'm going to do a video about lesbians, because nobody never really says anything. They stay quiet and they don't want to talk about it because they're afraid to say what's on their mind. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. And there's a fear that if they say too much, that they're gonna, be looked at, or they're gonna be, criticized. And I don't even care anymore who criticizes me, who looks at me, who says anything bad about me, because I know that's what the internet is full of. Is full of people who are always critical of one another. And so some people are gonna like what you say, and some people just aren't. And so you can't please everyone. So anyway, I just basically was saying how I felt about the whole subject, or the irony behind how people view lesbians in this time, when you have this climate of so much hatred towards people who are in the gay community. When it happens, the same level of hatred, I notice it's sort of, you pick your favorites, and people pick their favorites, and their favorite lesbian is Ellen DeGeneres. Their favorite lesbian is Andrea Constance, in the sense of well, not necessarily for some people, because however, in the black community, Andrea Constance is the reason why, Bill Cosby, she's one of the main reasons why he's incarcerated, and that he can't get out, and that he's getting so much empathy behind the fact that it happened to be this woman here. And I think what makes it even more frustrating is that she happened to be a lesbian. And so there's that hatred from some of the black community towards gays and lesbians. But what's crazy is that same anger is not directed towards this woman. I bet some of the same people, they watch her show, they love Ellen, they don't even see the sexuality anymore. They just like the popularity, the comedy, the funniness in her. But when Queen Latifah came out and said who she was, in the beginning, when she didn't say anything, people suspected it. But nobody, as long as nobody said anything or asked any questions or talked about it, she was all good. But when she started coming up and admitting, and they started catching and seeing her with the girlfriends and taking photos of her, because TMZ first, they kind of did it and uncovered it. And then some other people had, kind of saw what was going on. And then she finally just came out and admitted who she was, because it's harder for black women who are lesbian to come out and say that they're lesbian, because you have so much scrutiny and hatred from your black peers. But yet they still support this woman right here because she's white. And so what I'm saying is, in this blog or this video, is that the same support, Queen Latifah didn't get that same support. You see, her show didn't even last that long, and of course now she's doing another show. There's another show that she's, doing, and it's funny because this show, the Queen Latifah show, her executive producers were Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith, and James Lasseter. And so Miguel Mendez, Queen Latifah, Shakim Compere, whatever, they were Corin Nielsen. They're all the producers for her. So you can kind of see the pictures, you know. Anyway, this show didn't really last as long, but now she's on this other show called Star. And so I think she's doing well with that. And so that might be another reason why she's not really having time to do this show right here, the talk show. And so it only aired for 2 seasons. And so now this woman right here, Ellen DeGeneres, is supposed to be an American comedian, television host, actress, writer, producer, and an LGBT activist, right? So she came out, back, I think, in the 90s, I think she might have came out. And she came out as lesbian in an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey show. And this was during the fourth season of the Ellen in 1997. So yeah, it was in the 90s that she came out. So she starred on 2 television sitcoms, Ellen. And so from 1994 to 1998, the Ellen Show from 2001 and 2002, and during the 4th season, Ellen in 1997. So that's when she came out. And so she's explored various LGBT issues, including coming out process as well. And so in 2008, so she married her longtime girlfriend, which was Portia de Rossi. I don't think they're married anymore. I don't believe so. I believe that she had separated. She might have a new spouse, or it's off again, on again. No, she doesn't. It says that they ended their relationship in 2008. And so she's like the world's most loved lesbian, in terms of the LGBT people. And I believe there's a couple of things that go along with this. When you come out early on and let people know who you are, and you just go through life like that, there's an advantage to some of that. But the disadvantage is you have to get around the people who dislike you because of your sexual orientation. And you could be white or black or pink or purple or blue. You're going to go through something somewhere with individuals. But there is a level of privilege when you're wealthier, when you come from a wealthier background, or you make more money and you happen to be white. And so you do possess a level of privilege. And so that's the reason why I said this and I did this blog, because in the black community, the black people, they support predators, and then they're supporting people who are, if they're not black and they're lesbian, it's all good. They got money, popularity, fame. You're supportive of that. But if they're black and lesbian, you're not as supportive of them. If they happen to be a white lesbian that takes down Bill Cosby, which he should not had no business messing with her, and drugging her drink and doing all of the abuse that he did to her, you know, now you're on this hate parade because she happens to be a white wealthy lesbian. You know, well, how many black men are dating white women? There are a lot of them out there doing this. And so, some people are not for it. Some people are cool with it, or they're against it, or they think that there's some kind of ulterior motive behind it. And it may be, but the thing that I noticed is that when this lady came forward and they saw who she was, and some people still feel like there still wasn't enough evidence. I'm thinking, well, what about R. Kelly? Here he's with women, and these women come forward and they happen to be black, and you've got all these multiple videos turning all of the blame around on the women. Why? Because they happen to be black females. Black females, it's like we don't have feelings, like we don't hurt. If we get abused or we get sexually mistreated or misused, it's not the same. It doesn't transfer over to the black women as it does to white females. The only reason why they're on this hate parade about this Constance lady is because people see that she's lesbian, you know, and it's Bill Cosby, and he was supposed to be this pillar in the black community, and so all these people are on this hate thing towards this woman. Now, the thing is that what I dislike is the fact is that in a way, when you look at it, by her being white and having money and having some type of status in society with that privilege, her situation was immediately honed in on, and they took care of it. But with R. Kelly's situation, they take their time. They're doing a probe. They're doing an investigation. They have to look at all these videos of all these poor black women that are being sexually mistreated, or they're being abused, or they're being molested. And it took maybe one or two videos for them to finally get the light bill to go on to say, oh, he's an abuser. What is it in society that causes people to do this? I have reason to believe it has a lot to do with the race of the woman and with the social status of the woman. And so if she's not wealthy, if she's not white, if she's not popular, then it's her word against the abuser. And this mob justice mentality that's out there, where people just instantly are misogynistic, and they look at it as it's the woman's fault. It must have been her. It must have been something she wore, or something she said, or she shouldn't have been there. But if it's somebody that's white and it's a female and something happens to her, they instantly have to correct the wrong that has happened. They have to instantly figure out, how can we actually punish this individual for taking this woman and taking her body and abusing her and doing all these cruel, horrible things to her. And so that's all I'm saying. I feel like the same level of justice is not given to black women as it is to white females. And then when they come out with their sexual orientation, they're treated a whole nother way as well. The same thing happens in the straight world. What happens with race issues happens with lesbians. When they're white and they're lesbian, they're looked at one way. If they're black and lesbian, they're looked at a whole nother way. And so that's my point in all of this. I feel as though the same types of, popularity and fame and all of this, we love Ellen, is not transferred over to popular and well-known black lesbians like Queen Latifah and whomever else that you can think of. They have to sort of stay in the shadows and be quiet. Come out, say who you are, but don't talk too much about it. Let's just focus on your career and your talent, and that's it. And we'll be brief with you, but we don't want to go into who you are and your sexuality as a person. But when it comes to white lesbians, they could talk about lesbian topics all day long and nobody gets offended because they have popularity and money. And so this is the kind of thing that I noticed over the years that I had witnessed, that the same respect that this woman gets, Queen Latifah is not getting looked at that way. It was like a hush hush, and then when people found out, it was such a big ass deal, you know. And it was talked about like, oh, like it changed things. People already sort of suspected it. Some people probably knew, you know, but it was about her music, her talents, and everything. Now you don't really hear so much about her unless it's this new show she's in, The Star, that's on television. That's like a series. But this woman right here, they wanted her head because, oh, what did she do? She took down America's famous black dad. And on top of that, she happened to be a wealthy white woman. I don't know if she's super wealthy, but I think she might be doing okay, is what I'm saying. I don't think she's poor. But on top of that, her being a lesbian, the black community just kind of jumped all over it. But when it's R. Kelly, all those black women that had come forward, somehow it must have been their fault, not R. Kelly. And it's taken forever and a day for them to see him guilty. And now finally they had to look at all these tapes and do this probe, and they got one indictment that I know of. There might be more coming. So it may take time. They're probably, compiling all of this evidence as we speak. They already raided his place. They've already, had him, tried to contact him, and I guess his lawyers. And so there's this whole conspiracy around R. Kelly that he had this sex cult. And so it turns up that a lot of this stuff is becoming a reality and real factual. And so it had gone on for several decades, even. And so now you got even people who know him and are close to him saying that they know and remember, like even back when he was with Aaliyah, that they questioned his, credibility and who he was and what he was involved in terms of these young women. And so, I noticed I seen some crazy ass videos where they were basically, accusing the women or faulting the women for being, abused. But we don't have that here, do we, with this woman, do we? They just don't like her because she happened to take down the world's famous black dad, and she happens to be a lesbian. She's white, but you don't see too many people saying too much about this. Some people are saying things, but it's not in the same fashion as it is these R. Kelly women, the ones that actually did go through some real serious abuse, sexual abuse. And so that's what I'm wondering. It's like, why is it that the same respect that we give, or that some people have given this woman, his hadn't transferred to Queen Latifah? So I'm saying there is race involved in this, whether people want to believe it or not, that, all lesbians are not treated the same way. All gay men are not treated the same way. Now we got this issue with Jussie Smollett, where he supposedly was attacked, and then they came forward and said it was a setup and it wasn't real. So, how's that going to fly? He happens to be a black gay man, and he's open about his sexuality. And so now we got people bashing on that, and it's not looking too good. And so, it's just crazy. But I feel like people are not honest, and they don't treat people the same way based on what they look like. And so that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a lot of dishonesty. And I'm gonna be real here on this level. I don't feel like people are honest even about their sexuality. I feel like some people would try this. Most women would try this. Most women, they had, I don't know if you've seen that, where what's her name? She's one of the Braxton sisters, said that she paid some woman to have sex with her, and that they saw her going out of a hotel with some lady, and the lady had sex with her, but it's kept quiet. And you notice, have you seen Tamar Braxton? She cut her hair, and she had a divorce, and so she supposedly has a new boyfriend. So it was a messy divorce, I believe. And so right now in the news, who's having a messy divorce is Jill Scott. Now that has nothing to do with this right here, but this is for those who don't know who Tamar Braxton is. As I'm trying to stay with the topic, because I feel like when it's women who are white and they're lesbian, they're treated some type of way much differently than some woman who is Tamar. Is if you see her recent pictures of her, she's cut all of her hair off, or she's wearing her hair very low. And there was an article, or there was something that I saw ran across, where they said that, I don't know what she was going through during that time, but they said that she had met up with some woman, some female. I'm believing it. She paid some high paid masseuse or some lady, whatever. I don't know. And the woman was a lesbian. Her as interlude. And so I was willing to bash people who live like that. I feel like people are phony. They don't tell the truth. The way they treat one person who comes out and says who they are, they treat the other person a whole nother way based on race. And so that's what I'm saying in this. That's basically what I'm saying in this. Queen Latifah is not treated the same way as Ellen DeGeneres is treated. And so I even noticed this in some people that I knew, you know, in personally, that they'd watch the Ellen show. Oh, Ellen is funny. Ha 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 ha. And then when the conversation comes up about LGBTQ people, they totally don't even see that in Ellen. But when they talk about Queen Latifah, or they talk about somebody black that comes out and says who they are, oh, those women are evil. Those women are, deviants. Those women are this, and those women are that. Wait, the same people you're talking about that are lesbian? Ellen DeGeneres, your favorite talk show host. That's what she is. In fact, she's an activist on the issue of being you know, in the gay community. She's sort of like an activist. She speaks out on issues like that. But that, yet and still, you don't see that in her. But when you start talking about other women who are black that come out and say who they are, you don't like that. I feel like there's a lot of people that are out there in this world that are phony, they're liars, they don't tell the truth, and they're two-faced, and they're not being honest. And black people do the same shit. They treat each other the same way. They do the same crazy ass shit. If it's black people who are gay or they're lesbian, they're jumping on their bones. and putting them down. But if it's white people who are gay and lesbian, oh, that show is so funny. You love her. They're talking about getting tickets to go on the show. You know, they don't even see the lesbian in her anymore, even though that's what she is. You know, this woman here. You know, and the only reason why they don't like this woman is because she took down America's favorite dad. She took down America's favorite black dad. You know, but when it's R. Kelly doing all this stuff to black women, it's the black women's fault. And this is coming from the black community. This is what I don't understand. And what I see it as is we don't tell the truth either. We lie. We make up stories. It's bullshit. It's not fair. We do each other wrong, you know. And so here you got these women in this R. Kelly thing, and these women have suffered probably the same abuse that this Constance lady went through, you know. And right now, you know, when you pull it up, they got the documentary on Lifetime, tapes of R. Kelly urinating on women. You know, says that fans are fuming after singer reportedly stands by R. Kelly, and fans went blah 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 crazy. You know, so there's all this stuff with R. Kelly and all this evidence, but yet he's not locked up yet. He's even still got right here. He's Robert Sylvester Kelly. He's even got a page in his name on him. He's got R. Kelly has tickets direct at the box office, still selling for his events. Now they said discount tickets updated last hour. You know, people are still supporting R. Kelly. So this is the world we live in, is what I'm saying. See how sick it is? It's just sick, sick, sick shit, is what it is. He actually has done something to women, and they actually have videotape of him doing it, yet he's not locked up. We pick and choose our favorites, don't you think? We pick and choose our favorites. We take down the ones we want to take down, and we don't take down the ones that we should take down. You know, we pick and choose our favorites. So here you got this woman right here. You know, she happens to be white. We gotta hurry up and we gotta do something about this. But you got this guy right here. He's all on the internet selling tickets. They got videotape of him actually doing stuff to people, and yet nobody's locked him up yet. Ask yourself that question. And we don't like it when Queen Latifah came out and said who she was. But we love watching this lady every week. Every fucking week she's on, got a show on. We don't even see the lesbian in her anymore. We just see Ellen. Oh, that's Ellen. She's cool. She's cool. You know. So black people do shit too. They do shit. They pick their poison, and all of it is poison. They pick it. They choose their favorites. They do the same shit. And in society also picks and chooses their favorites. The media picks and chooses their favorites as well too. They're in on this stuff too. They gotta be. There's this whole society that chooses who they like and who they don't like. I'm just saying, you notice that over the years I have witnessed this. That people, the way they treat different individuals, they don't treat them synonymously. They don't. And anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna let this video go. What do you think about this? Look at this. R. Kelly, he did all this stuff to these women and he still got tickets at the box office where you can see his shows. And most of those women, I think there was one Latina in the group, but most of those women were women of color. And they're moving real slow about him. But it didn't take no time to take Bill Cosby out because who did he mess with? He messed with this white woman. And it was other women that he supposedly did stuff to, but as soon as this woman came forward, they hurried up and they did something about it. So anyway, I'm just saying, I don't think people really have really evaluated all of this. It's the same way they treat black women who, if they come out and say that they're lesbian, they are not treated the same way as they treat this woman right here. They're not treated that way. That's the reason why they don't say anything. You get it? That's why they don't say anything. That's why some women don't want to report when they've been abused. It takes a long time for them to come out and say anything if they're a woman of color because they don't feel they're going to be believed because we're so busy trying to buy tickets to see the abuser. Anyway, I'm going to let this video go. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for listening.